I'm Becky Meagher, and welcome to Transitions, Body, Mind, Spirit. Transitions. We have so many transitions in our life, whether it be changing. Well, I like to use the metaphor of triathlons. That's something I've been doing 11 years. And in a triathlon, first you start in the swim, and you swim, and then you get to the transition area, and then you take your goggles off and get on the bicycle and bike. And then you get off your bike in the transition area again, and then you run. So that's a great metaphor for life. How do we change from one thing to another, and whether it be physical or spiritually? And we have some very interesting guests today. We have Jeff Carr and Dwayne Jones. And Jeff Carr is an actor, been in Leadership Nashville, a minister. And Dwayne Jones was a contractor, engineer, and way back they were fraternity brothers. And they've come back to a really wonderful project. And their project has to do with tiny houses and affordable housing. And right now in Nashville, Tennessee, with the mayor's race, there's a lot of talk about transitional housing and homeless, and it's so expensive, and where do you go? So this is very exciting. And Jeff, I'm going to let you lead on. What's the exciting project that you are just doing now?
Well, Becky, first off, thanks for having us here and being a part of the show. I'm always excited to be a part of anything you're doing, and Transitions is one of my favorite media outlets to get all kinds of knowledge and information and to just be a part of, because you do a great job of letting people know what's going on and exploring deeper concepts that relate to one another, help us relate to one another as human beings. I am blessed and pleased and honored to lead what I call Infinity Fellowship, and the group that's now part of it calls Infinity Fellowship. It is a coming together of people from different faith traditions, but we have a little new thought, a little ancient wisdom, a little flavor, different cultures in there, and we center it all around commonality in spirituality that transcends religion. We call it trans-religious spirituality, but we center it around the common core elements that allow people to then focus on social justice and action, and actually turning spirituality and faith into tangible things that you can see, ways to make a difference. Right now, something that's hot in the area is affordable housing and homelessness. And those things are really related to each other more than some people might know. According to Housing and Urban Development, there are so many people now that are homeless in every given city that each city is being called upon to address with a hyper focus, almost, that issue. Here in Nashville alone, our daily index says that anywhere between 2,000 and 4,000 people on any given night are in a category of homeless. And that includes people who are sleeping in shelters, people who are sleeping on park benches and boxes, or even at relatives' homes, and people who are mobile, sleeping in their cars. And it can happen to anybody. Your issue of affordable housing is really simple. You can have a downturn in the economy, you can lose a job, you can miss a couple of bonus checks, and it happens when you can no longer afford to pay the rent or the mortgage where you are. And it can happen really quick. A national average of being able to pay 30% of your income for your mortgage payment. If you go above that, you're at risk. And now in Nashville, we have many areas where people are paying 50% or more of their income for their living arrangements, and that's just not affordable housing. So we decided to attack this problem by creating an initiative to provide tiny homes for the homeless population that we want to donate to them. And it is very much a spiritual, financial, and pragmatic triathlon, if you will. We've got 3 stages. Right now we're in the beginning stages. We just jumped in the water, and right now we're swimming. And that just took us actually coming up with a model that Dwayne built and put together for us, 60 square feet on the back of a trailer, standard car trailer. And we're going to swim there. I'm going to live in the model until we get to the place where we're going to make a change, a transition, don our goggles, and get on the bicycle. The bicycle phase for us is very much churning the fundraising and getting people going, turning the wheels in our heads and saying we've got a GoFundMe site. It'll give us the money to raise what we need to raise to build an entire village of these micro homes to donate to the homeless. And then after we make that transition to getting that money, then we're going to sprint toward the finish line.
Right.
And that's building it. So it's great to be here with a great triathlete and to talk about what we're metaphorically going to do to make a difference in people's lives.
That is wonderful. So I believe that this unit you have built, you brought it from Memphis today.
Yes.
Am I correct?
Correct.
And can you tell us a little bit more detail on you being the architect of this, putting it together? What's inside it? What is it that, and we're going to have pictures, but kind of give us a idea, what do we have?
Well, having an engineering background and being a general contractor, I put all the same concepts that are in an actual full-size home. The only difference is it's actually mounted on a trailer with wheels. We actually built it out of 2x4s. We actually put seismic clips in it like you do hurricane clips. We have
Seismic clips?
Seismic clips. They're Simpson strong ties. They're anchors that you put on the 2x4s to support the walls so they won't collapse in case of a hurricane. And those are required according to code enforcement on typical new construction. So we actually put insulation in the walls. We use drywall, joint compound, and paint it. We actually wired it up and have a breaker box and a panel box.
Wow.
And we have an inside light and we have an outside light. We use siding. We use a low E window. Use low VOC paint. We're trying to be ergonomically and energy efficient as possible. And we put laminate floors in the bottom with base trim and quarter round. And we actually decorated with a nice color scheme where it's green on the outside, the door is red, and we have a house number, and it's actually powered by a generator with anticipation on actually powering with solar at a later date.
Wow. Is there a kitchen?
No. We didn't put any plumbing. We're trying to keep the cost down, and we're hoping when we did the community that we will actually have a freestanding structure, some porta potties, and a kitchen for common use to keep the cost down. Those will be, later options for if someone wanted to do that. But right now we're just focusing on actually having a bed, which is a fold-down bed we custom-made for a twin. It folds onto the wall, and we're going to provide a microwave, a mini fridge, and a combination heater and air conditioner for the window.
So you'll have heat and air conditioning.
Correct.
Wow. And then the idea is, so this is really a sleeping area because you can sleep in it. Will there be a little place that if you want to read or a little desk or, I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the reason we did the bed is for fold away. It folds on the wall, and you have a space about the size of an area rug. You can put a chair, a desk, a table, and it has outlets so you can plug up your cell phone, laptop, and other amenities. You're going to even put a TV with a DVD. And I anticipate long-term someone may even mount a satellite dish. They have cable.
Cable in the mini home.
Okay, it's a home. It's an actual home with miniature features. Everything is just smaller.
Everything is just small. And you envision one person in there or two?
Well, actually, it's designed for one person.
Right.
But if you've ever been homeless or know somebody homeless, people will make a way to provide for other people who may be homeless. So if someone is homeless, they may allow somebody to sleep on the floor. They do it on traditional homes, so I wouldn't see them doing anything different on a micro home.
Even in the neighborhood where we have the model set up,
Yes.
People have been coming, and the last afternoon, when we got there about 4:30, and from that time up until now, for the last couple of hours almost, it's just been a continuous stream of people. And a couple of people were there, they was like, this is a great idea, because that abandoned house over there, people try to break in there at night, and people sleep under the porch, and they sleep under that car just because there's no place for them to lay their head to stay close to Nashville. So we think it's going to provide an effective solution. And it sounds like it's, luxury home, and in some ways it is, but we think it's important to make it that way. There are shelters that people are building across the country to try to kind of put a stop to the homelessness. But some of the shelters that you see, you wouldn't want to live in. I mean, they've got a half door, They've just got one-sided roof. They're kind of thrown together, and it's good for a homeless person who'd appreciate it. But you have to crawl on all fours to get into it, and you lay on a hard floor. And for those of us who have had struggles like that years ago, 7, 8 years ago, I had a point where I could have been in the same position. So I said, I don't want to be a part of building something that I wouldn't live in myself if I was in that space. Homeless people have to deal with a stigma that is attached to homeless people. I've known millionaires who were technically homeless at some point, and they had to deal with people saying, well, you got mental disease, or are you a drug addict? What's wrong with you? Are you a thief? Have you been in prison? And really, the person next door to us could have battled that. It could happen to anyone. So we wanted to create a nice transitional house and a community of these houses where people can still maintain the dignity of having a home while they're working to get out of the situation that they're in. We envision the community, the infinity community of these tiny homes as not necessarily a step down, but a step up, an opportunity to have a step up and then to step out and to move forward in the world.
So this kind of demonstration home that you just came in today, and it is in the Germantown area of Nashville, which is a really hot area. I happen to be a real estate agent in my other life, and I sell houses in that area, and it's really hot. So this is off Jefferson Street, and right now it is sitting on somebody's lot.
Yes, it's sitting on a lot. A person has a rose garden that's dedicated to D. Ford Bailey Jr., one of the early stars of the Grand Ole Opry. And it's at 1003 Monroe Street, which is right next to the historic North Nashville Library. So it's right down from the Monroe Kroger's if you come up Monroe Street, and you'll see it sitting there on the lot. We were able to place it nicely next to some good landscaping, and I spent most of the morning out there thinking that I was going to be able to handle a lot that size with a push mower, and I got a good portion of it done before I said I think I'll be out here all weekend. And just as the mower ran out of gas, after I cut enough for the plot to put the building on, I sat there and the mower had run out of gas. I said, I'm going to have to get some more gas. And just then a guy drove up in a truck with a trailer with 2 riding mowers on it. And I said, oh, wow. He let a guy out and drove off. And I went to the guy and said, hey, excuse me, friend, what's your name? He said, I'm Gilbert. I said, who's the guy with the truck? He said, oh, he's a landscaper, man. I said, do you think he wants to cut some grass? He said, maybe. I said, can I have his number? He said, yeah. What's his name? Jeff. I said, sign from God. Jeff, this is Jeff. Can you come cut this lot? He said, oh, yeah, sure, man. You right there? Okay. He turned around, jumped off that thing, man, and cut it down. And I had just enough time to get that ready for Dwayne to come up. So people in the neighborhood are excited. The house is there. I am going to be living there. I move in tomorrow, and I'm going to live there until we raise the funds that we need and get the awareness there to build the village. So I'm excited about it. I've met half the neighbors already, walked through the neighborhood and talked to people. But it's also a good way for people to see what a building like this would look like. So it's going to be there. So we're encouraging people to just drive by or hop out and, have a cup of water or drink with me on the porch or some coffee and, just be a nice neighbor and help us make this happen.
Will you have a sign saying this is the project?
Yeah, we put it up this afternoon.
What does it say?
The sign says, help build a micro village. I think that's what it says.
It has a thermometer on it.
Yes.
And one thing that we were adamant about is we didn't want to stick out like a sore thumb. And what I mean by that, we wanted to have nice design features, make it look like a house. And it actually has a roof, shingles, it has a pitch, it has beautiful colors, and it's just a smaller house. So instead of people coming by and looking at, oh, that eyesore, why they put that there? A lot of people, oh, that's cute. Oh, is it a dollhouse? They're trying to, it's positive comments. It's nothing negative, and nobody wants to call code enforcement or call the mayor's action and have it removed. Everybody wants to see what's going on. Because it's just a smaller version. And the next step up would be a cottage home, because it's devastating to be homeless. And like we were saying before, Jeff and I have known each other for years. And this homeless problem is here in Nashville as well as Memphis, but we've seen it abroad, in Haiti and Ghana and Togo and India. So this is a global issue that we're bringing close to home and trying to address it in Nashville first by being agents of change.
Right. And as an aside, too, I know that you both together have been in Haiti, and tell everybody about some of the things that you've done in other countries, and you guys don't like the bureaucracy, so you just go in and do things, and tell us about that.
Yeah, I'll say a little bit, and then I'll turn it over to the master here.
Okay.
Because Dwayne is actually the guy who got me into looking beyond just the United States and saying, how can you be a global citizen? And I've traveled twice to Haiti with Dwayne. Once right after the earthquake that killed about 6 kids in an orphanage that he'd been supporting for a long time. We went down and erected a tent city before the rainy season for them there, and spent probably a week, a little over a week. And
you
then
erected a tent city.
a
Did
tent
you
city.
like bring tents?
Yeah, we collected tents, and we called Facebook friends. We got people to donate tents, and we boxed them up
and took them
over there. And we were able to give enough housing because when we got there, the kids were literally, you talk about affordable housing, kids were sleeping outside with a tarp tied to a rusty old truck. And I'll never forget it because my second to last daughter at that time, she was about 6 months old. And there was a 6-month-old baby there. And the baby's bed was a gravel lot with a towel on it. And they were laying there, and I was laying outside looking across the lot, looking 5 feet across from me and seeing this little baby laying on gravel and thinking about my own kid. And it was just the most gut-wrenching feeling I ever had. I said, if there's anything I can do to help alleviate this pain, then I'll do it for the rest of my life. And then I got a chance to return when we got a new facility for them at the orphanage and help them move in there, set up a water filtration system on the roof. And Dwayne is always inspiring me because the places that he's been, he's not waited for organizations to do it. He's just said, there's a need, somebody contacted me, here's the date that I'm gonna come, who wants to go with me? And that's been very much a model for me in how we make change. That's what we're doing here with the Homeless Project and the Affordable Housing Project. We're very much manifesting the African proverb, the spider webs that unite can tie up a lion. So we're trying, I'm just being a little piece of the web, and by the time I got to it, this guy had been all over the world, man. You tell some about
tell us a little bit more about some of the worldwide, and this is just you on your own, no organization. I mean, you're the man, you're the organization.
Actually, I first started in 2003. I went with Habitat Global Village. And it's a wonderful organization. It's the international branch of Habitat for Humanity.
Right.
And basically, I raised funds, and it was like $1,700 team fee. Had to pay for my own airline. My first trip was Ghana, and I was gone 30 days. And while there, we built a house, and it was $3,500. And being an engineering student, a little savvy, I started counting. There's 12 people on my team. We all had to pay $1,700. That's a lot of money for a $3,500 house. So when I got back to the United States, I decided I would look up, everything. I got travel insurance. I got some travel agents to get airfares. I went to check on the immunization through the CDC, and everything needed, passports, visa, and I started doing teams on my own. I remember the New Olivet Baptist Church in Memphis. I talked to my pastor, and he was like, okay, great. We didn't have an international ministry. He's like, well, now you're the director of international ministry. So I basically invited college friends and everybody that had a gift. Jeff being acting, he didn't tell the whole story. We were out there, didn't have any utilities. We took flashlights. We were making animals on the wall with flashlights, little doves and birds with the kids.
Yeah, that was fun. I hadn't done that in years.
Yeah, he was teaching them songs on the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And when we got there, after the first orphanage collapsed and the children died, we actually had a lot with the house that was cracked and crumbling. It was engineered terribly. It was crumbling, and they couldn't sleep inside. But the person had money, and they came to the United States. But they allowed us to use the land. And it was on a sloped lot. We actually got some local workers to help Jeff and I, and we shoveled gravel to level it off.
Yeah, we sure
And
did.
we actually set up a tent city. We walked like about a half mile to go get water. We went and bought food, and we set up actual tent city. We had like 2 tents left over. We couldn't put in our location, so we went and actually donated those tents to other people. We walked through the actual government tent city, which had hundreds of tents. And we gave out balloons and donations to local people.
Wow.
But it was amazing. You talk about the bureaucracy. We would land at the airport and see pallets and pallets of food and supplies.
It's just sitting
and
there.
just sitting there.
Just sitting there.
And
the distribution was gone. I mean,
Yeah.
it just wasn't.
Sitting there.
And when we went to the villages and stuff, we wanted to buy food. We went to the store, and it was ridiculous what they were charging. So they took us to the black market. And we went to the black market, and we were buying rice with the American flag on it. Stuff that people had donated, they was making to the black market and
Yeah.
actually selling.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot
And
of
making it more affordable for people to be able to. I mean, you get a gigantic 50-pound bag of rice, government issue, that you can pay $5 for. They might charge $25 for somewhere
and the
else.
kids were
It's
just amazing. Jeff taught them a lot. I had educators go to Haiti and like Ghana. We've actually helped Pastor Isaac Akoli. He has 7 churches. And I've gone to India, to Akivadu, which is a remote village. We went to Togo, which is a neighboring country to Ghana. And Haiti is just like a hop, skip, and a jump. We go there for 3-4 days. But when we go to India and Ghana and Togo, it's a longer flight, anywhere between 18 to 24 hours in transition. So those trips are no less than a week. But I've done 5 trips to Africa and spent 30 plus days. So I've been doing mission work since 2003 in Ghana and Togo. I started Haiti in 2008, and last year I started India in 2014.
Wow. And now the other mission is Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville,
Yes.
Tennessee. It's time to
So-
put something here at home.
The vision, the overall vision for this project, and what are we calling this project you're starting this weekend? What is
We're
it?
calling it Infinity Village. That's what we're
Infinity
calling it, the
Village.
Infinity Village.
Okay.
We set up a GoFundMe page for people to be a part of. It's GoFundMe Homeless Village. That's what we call it.
We'll put that
Yeah,
on our-
GoFundMe.com/homeless village.
Okay.
Or they can visit us online at myif.org, MYIF. It's real simple, for Infinity Fellowship. And our goal is to build a model village that we can then donate to 1 or 2 of our partners that we're working with now, and let it be a self-sustaining place. There's no strings attached for us. It's let's do something to make a difference, turn it over to organizations that are dealing with homeless, and use that as a model for not only what you can do with homeless populations, but what you can do for affordable housing. People might say, hey, I have some extra land sitting somewhere that I want to create affordable housing. A 6x10 trailer has what we have. A 7x14 trailer, Dwayne could add a chemical toilet. He can add plumbing. He could add a kitchenette. It could totally be a self-sustaining place. So people can use those units for income. They can use them. They can sell the units with fabulous realtors who are looking for alternative people who want to live in alternative space. One young guy came. He was just out of college, and he came up and he said, "Can I look inside?" We were like, "Yeah, you like?" He said, "Man, how much is this? Because I've been thinking about trying to get a unit like this, and I've never seen one in person." So we said, "Wow." He said, "Would you like?" He said, "I would totally like to live like this." And it doesn't do solar. We're like, it's wired to have a panel. We can put a solar panel on it. And he said, "I want to do this." So alternative ways of living, and living a little bit more off the grid and having a lower carbon print, I think it benefits everybody. And like Dwayne said, one thing that I've learned from him, and one thing that we learned in Infinity, at some point, you can get frustrated if you just look at the world and all that appear to be problems and nothing's being solved. But you can stop and take a moment out and say, you know what can I deal with this right in front of me? It doesn't take much. We got this idea that came out of our heads, and building a demonstration model is most important, because a lot of people, when you say, I've got some plans, I've got an idea, Dwayne said earlier, there's some blueprints, they're like, yeah, I got you. But when you can say, come visit me in this model and let me show you what we want to do, then we believe people can see the tangibility in it, and that can teach them that out of nothing you can create something, and we can create much more.
Right, and the fact that you have something, and when people gather, there's that synergy.
Yes.
And people go, well, I'd like this, well, I've got some money, let's do, and it grows and it builds. And there's so much talk politically in Nashville here about, there's talk.
Yes, exactly.
Meet.
Right.
It's like, let's meet, let's have another meeting,
A meeting for
I
the
see
meeting.
that all the
And
time.
a meeting for the meeting for the meeting.
And right. And so now you actually have something physically, people can go, oh, I got it. But the cost to actually build what you built, what is that about cost?
Well, right now, we're looking at this particular model. It's
Yes.
about $7,000.
$7,000.
And it's total contained with the appliances and the generator and everything.
Okay.
But one thing is, we're focusing on the homeless portion.
Right.
There's a side benefit that we're not emphasizing, but it's a great benefit. that where we're locating these, we're anticipating on encouraging people to use bicycles for the health benefit, and we're also encouraging community gardens.
So you got the garden, the bicycle,
and affordable housing. So
right.
We're trying to make a total community out of this project.
Right. Do you envision it being an urban area or a suburban, or is there any thought of where, so you have a gathering of 12 of these cool little units, and there's got to be a toilet someplace, and there's got to be a community kitchen. Is there a vision of, well, where do we want this?
Yeah, we've actually got a couple of places that we're talking to now. So we want to make sure we have all of the legality here, but both of them are very strong options. We just have to weigh which one is going to be better. But they're both urban. They're located inside the Beltway, so to speak, inside the 440 area. And necessarily so because we want people to be able to have access. We know that public transportation is a big thing right here, and how to get around. So with being able to have something that you can ride your bike to, or something that's close to a walkable neighborhood, something that's accessible to downtown and the hub, it helps. And so we want to set that there, and of course we want to. We're going to be involved in creating a space that is a communal space where they gather for food, where they can gather for charging their cell phones, restroom and shower facilities as well.
And our initial model is attacking homelessness, but this model can be tweaked for college students. It can be, developed for any type of a neighborhood, a progressive neighborhood with business professionals. So this model
offices, small offices. There are model communities like this. We haven't seen them in Nashville, but we've seen them in Seattle. We've seen them in Wisconsin.
Have you
Madison.
actually visited any of these?
No, I haven't.
No, we've seen them. We've seen them on like all of the great TV shows and all of the great,
Like
all of the great trade
online.
magazines and online, and like people will see on this great TV show, right?
Right, and we're
But
gonna have lots
but
of
they're
pictures,
sustainable,
too.
and when we read about them, we say everybody says, "Oh, that would be so cool here." Well, how do we do that? Well, you just say, call your friends, everybody chip in a little bit what you can, and let's make it happen. And then we got a model that we hope the nation can look at and say, this is something that we can do here, and it doesn't cost us much.
I think that this is a marvelous, wonderful idea. That I love the fact that there's actually something physical to go to see. You can hear what the vision is. And we're going to put this on your website out there. We're part of the transition area to get people to know about this wonderful project. And I'm just thrilled that you're both doing this and really doing it. So thank you very much for your transitions and in helping us. And that is it for transition. Stay tuned. I mean,
You follow a good leader, man, you get there.
Yeah.
You're doing it.
I'm really excited about what you guys are doing. What I didn't mention, because I spent 3 hours at Codes last week, is like, Codes, you're going to be murdered at Codes.
I love it. I'm
Just
ready for it.
let them.
They're going to come up with some codes for you.